Thank you, Wes. I know you were in here before. We went over the $24 million call center scam that you did.
We did.
But now we brought you back because, you had a cocaine addiction.
I did.
Yeah, and I think that's a serious thing. I think you could help people that are in the same situation, because you've been up and down and all around. And, I didn't know how bad it was because I never messed with coke because I was always afraid that I would like it too much because I like caffeine and everything else, So thank you for coming in and sharing your story, and hopefully you can help people. So some of the things are in the other video. Make sure you go check it out. It says 24 million on it. It's him. You can't miss it. So some of the things might be a repeat, but just to get to the point of the situation. So where did you grow up at?
Jupiter, Florida, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Oh, pretty much the same little town.
So you grew up your whole life in Jupiter?
Pretty much, yeah.
And then you moved out of Jupiter at some
For a
point.
few years, and I came back. I got to be by the ocean.
Yeah, you like the ocean a lot? Okay. And then
It's peaceful.
so how many years did you were born and then you were in Jupiter?
I was born in Jupiter, born here.
Okay. So then when do you move out of Jupiter or
I moved out when I was like 20. I was 21.
so you stayed at home till 21?
Yeah. And I came back when I was like 26.
Right. And what we were saying in the other video, just to recap, you were actually adopted.
Yeah, I was.
And you didn't know you were adopted and your sister was
And
adopted
another
too.
sister that was adopted from another family, yes.
From another family. And you didn't know this until 12, right?
I was 12. They kind of sprung the news on me and her.
Now, how do they spring?
You don't. And it's probably the weirdest conversation to ever have with your child.
So break it down for me. So one day you're 12 years old, and what do? Put you at the dinner table and say, "Hey."
My mother brought me and my sister into a room and pretty much said, "I don't know how to quite tell you this, so I'm just going to say it. You're adopted. In other words, I'm not your real mother, and I have found both of your real parents. They would love to meet you." And it was. I remember bits and pieces of that day, but it's kind of still sometimes like when I process the thoughts of what happened, I don't know how to take it. I don't know.
Now, like when you think back to it, is it kind of blurry because it's something that
But
just
from all the drugs I've done, like growing up since then, a lot's blurry. Yes.
okay? So would you say that led into some of the drug use?
No.
Are you sure?
No, pretty sure. Family life definitely made an impact on that. The people I was choosing to hang out with, I just like to do me. I don't like rules, I guess is how it was.
And then so you had a brother. Well, did you have a brother?
I have an adopted brother. Oh, I have stepsisters and a stepbrother as well.
Okay. And are they adopted?
No, they're my stepdad's kids.
Okay. And you still talk to them today?
Yeah, I see them every now and then.
Okay. So you find out that you're adopted. What happens after that?
Fast forward 4 years later, I run away from home and I start doing me.
So about
Family life was never great.
So that was 13. So maybe 17, 18.
16, I ran away.
Okay. So you just ran away.
I got caught many times. Got my ass beat every time they found me. And then
So they did go look for you. They weren't like bad parents.
Half the time I was hiding in my aunt's closet. My parents would come there looking for me. They'd walk right by me.
And what made you run away?
And like the family environment, family life, it was abusive. It was, I guess I was a rebellious teenager.
Well, when you say abusive, what do you mean abusive?
Just family life was not good. Mentally, verbally. He definitely put his hands on me and my sister.
Your step
Yes.
father did this?
Correct.
Okay, so he did that to you and your sister.
Yes.
And then, like from the other interview, the biological parents of your sister took her.
She chose to move back with him, yes. So she's been in Georgia ever since. I talked to her yesterday and this morning.
With your actual mother?
No, with her actual mother.
With her actual mother.
Different parents.
Okay, I'm getting confused here. Yeah.
She's pregnant again. I just talked to her this morning.
She's probably. Oh, she has more than one kid?
Yeah.
Okay. How's her situation?
Great.
She
was down here about 2 months ago.
Okay, and then what was your first job? So you run away, you're 17, 18.
First job was Domino's Pizza.
Domino's Pizza.
I started as a order taker. Then I started making pizzas. I became a manager at some point. That's the first place I got drunk.
Was
Traded a pizza.
Domino's
I
Pizza?
was 15, almost 16 years old. I traded a pizza for a bottle of rum to the liquor store next door,
Yeah.
and we got lit.
Okay.
And I threw up on the way home. I rode my bike home.
Yeah.
God, I don't even want to tell this story, but
Yeah, you got to tell.
on the way home, I was with my friend riding the bike. There was a church, and there was a sign out front that said something about the Sunday service, and me and my friend changed it to say, "Fuck it, shit happens."
You changed the sign?
And it made the news the next day.
Really?
Yeah. The first time I got drunk, bad things happened, so.
Okay, now would you say that was the beginning of your addiction?
I mean, I have an addictive personality, I think.
Yeah.
I first did cocaine when I was like 19 years old at a party in Jupiter Farms. I had a keg party. There was probably 400 people there. I think it was the same night I did ecstasy too.
Oh, jeez.
Um,
I'd come closer to the mic just so you can hear better. So you start drinking, and then what was the next drug?
Drinking, cocaine, ecstasy. Well, drinking and weed were roughly the same time. Smoked weed when I was like 12, 13, 14 too. I also like the party. I guess I loved the party environment, atmosphere.
So now, would you say like initially with the abuse or the addiction, you kept it social? It was only in social matters.
It was social for sure.
Okay.
When I started making all my money, when I was doing the call center stuff, that's when I had enough money to afford whatever I wanted, as much as I wanted. Go snort an 8-ball off a hooker's ass if I wanted to. I made some very poor decisions in my life, but yeah, when you have disposable money, the addiction factor can easily be affected.
So basically, you find out that you were adopted. 3 years later, you're sick of the abuse from your stepfather, verbal, physical, mental, whatever it may be. You start running away. Your first job is at Domino's. You get drunk. Was that the first time you got drunk?
Yeah.
Okay, but you had smoked marijuana
With
prior to
friends
that.
on the street from middle school.
Okay,
hiding in the bushes from our parents.
Wow. And then when do you get into the call center where you're starting to make money, where you can afford to do more than just like a social gathering? Because what you're saying is initially the drugs that you were doing, when you went out, you did them. When you were with certain people, you did them, so on and so forth. Then you got the call center scam going on, or legitimate at first. And
no, it was never legitimate.
Oh, you were never legitimate at all?
That particular one was never legitimate, no.
Okay, so now, so you start, it's just social gatherings. Like, you're not doing it alone, or you are?
Sometimes. I mean, I've been up for 2, 3, 4 days at times. I mean, it's never fun.
Now, did it speed track right into, okay, I'm drinking, I'm doing weed, I'm doing ecstasy, I'm doing cocaine?
You never want to do cocaine sober. You want to be drunk when you do it. I mean, you shouldn't do it.
Right.
But, yeah, those are bad days. When you do it sober, you know, at your house, you're bored, let's snort some cocaine and clean the house or watch some TV. You're definitely not going to sit in the TV on the couch watching it because your mind's going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's like right around that time, I was 21, is when it started to
go downhill.
Well, the usage went uphill.
Well, but yeah.
Everything else kind of go down and up and down and up, you know?
And, you know, I just heard from other people that do it. A lot of people do cocaine with alcohol because the alcohol's a downer and then the cocaine's an upper.
It evens it out. That's why long nights if you don't mix it with alcohol. And long nights turn into days.
Yeah. And you were going out every night?
I mean, pretty much I was. Sometimes I'd go to work on no sleep, 3 days no sleep. It was bad.
Now, do you think some of the addiction or being, you know, susceptible to addiction, do you think that's like a mental or like not psycho, but, you know, like mental issue?
A mental thing. I mean, yeah, it depends my state of mind, the mood I'm in, how I'm feeling is how much I'm probably going to do when I was doing it.
Yeah.
I snort $500 of the stuff in a night, every night for weeks at times. I've been there.
Now, when you
running on 45 minutes to an hour of sleep every couple days.
And how long did that go on for?
Off and on for a long time.
Now, did you have moments where like you stopped and then you
Yeah. Oh, I
started
stopped
and
for
you were
years,
clean?
5 years plus at times. That was all just cold turkey, not doing any type of AA. Been to a few AA meetings. I went to rehab. The higher power that they talk about, it's definitely a thing. You have to, you know, keep your eyes focused on just yourself and doing better. But yeah, when you're struggling in life, you're feeling some type of way, you're gonna snort lines as long as Kansas.
So you would say that part of the issue was a mentor
Yeah, some type of emotional thing that happened would make the problems spur back up, and
right. So you get depressed, and then that would be your outlet,
no,
and you
cocaine
go
does not
back.
make you depressed.
Right. Why it makes you undepressed, right?
Yeah, mine's on everything else but what you were depressed about.
So now at this point you're 21, right? 22. You're starting to make good money,
15, 20, 30 grand a week, sometimes more.
and now you're just going balls to the wall.
Yeah, strippers, penthouse suites in Miami, buying out all the VIP clubs or all the VIP boxes at the clubs, West Palm, Miami, um, buying shit I don't need.
Now, and where's your like family at when you're doing all this?
They're around.
I mean, did they kind of
Never really
did they
much.
disown you or you disown them?
Oh, I had a
Looking back
conversation with them
in,
about that the other day.
yeah, and
I
tell me
disrespect them for reasons that I don't quite understand.
what do you mean?
A criminal lifestyle that past tense criminal lifestyle, tons of things that they just. I live my way and I'm happy. I don't
But
choose to live their way.
when you were doing when you were in the height of your addiction,
Yeah.
21, 22, 23, whatever. Where did they just kind of disown you, or were they?
No, we just never had a great relationship. So it would be when every couple months they'd reach out or I'd reach out, and they live 4 miles away. I'd be at my aunt's house, and my aunt would tell me my mom's coming over, and I'd say, "All right, well I'm leaving. See ya."
Yeah.
So
And did you have multiple sources to get? So if one drug dealer was out of it,
if you're doing drugs, you know more than one person.
just
And if you only know one person, you probably shouldn't be doing drugs in the first place.
because it's not going to go over well.
Yeah,
Now you're running a business at this time, right?
yeah, I'm managing a
So
company.
now was everybody you were hanging out with doing drugs?
No, not everybody. When you go out, you go to the bars, you go drinking. Cocaine's a normal thing that comes with that type of lifestyle. People see you, you're getting fucked up. That's what you're doing. And
So not everybody was on drugs that you were around.
no,
Now, could they tell that you were on drugs?
a lot of times I'm sure you could.
Right.
There's,
So
there's
you
times I
did
didn't want to be around people because I knew they would be
because
able
you
to
knew
tell.
you were too messed up,
Well, they could
or
definitely.
they could tell, and maybe that they would because you were running the company at this point.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, during the daytime, yeah, I mean, I would make it through. No one at work kind of. I worked with recovering addicts at pretty much every call center, and 9 times out of 10, when you're giving a recovering addict paychecks that are 10, 15, 20 grand, they're gonna go do drugs
So wait,
unless their mind's in the
so
right
at the
place.
call center you had primarily recovering drug
Yeah, they
addicts.
recruited out of halfway houses, and they shuttled people from the halfway houses
So basically, your surroundings were nothing but people using.
in recovery, trying not to use.
Well, they
People
were
go missing for 2, 3, 4, 5 days.
right.
They'd relapse.
Okay, I should put it this way. So the people around you had drug abuse issues prior in their lives.
Oh, for sure.
Okay,
If they're living in a
so
halfway house, there's something wrong.
right
Well, that had to have went wrong.
now,
should I say.
right now when you're working with them, right? How long? Like when they come in, you hire them, they're clean. Now
I mean, it's not
you're balls
everybody.
to you're balls to the wall, but most of
Was,
the people were
but yes.
right. What were balls to the wall? How long did it take the people in recovery after kind of like being around you or that atmosphere to go to basically relapse?
Sometimes it took them their first paycheck. Sometimes months. I mean, everyone's different, and it depends on how bad you want it. So, me, it's always a struggle.
Now, when you were in like say like the height of your addiction, okay, were you able to maintain a job and income, or were you all
Yeah,
over the
I mean,
place?
because 9 times out of 10, everywhere I worked, I ran the company. I've always had this thing about not liking to be an employee. I'll own the business, or I will manage it because I'm giving money to other people that could be mine. I think I talked about the whole greed aspect of things.
Explain
When
that.
I was working at that original company, I realized I'm giving 40, 50% away of what I bring into the company when I can do it myself and keep 80 to 90%. So
Now, being in that atmosphere with, you're out abusing cocaine and whatever else. You have people working for you that are in recovery, relapsing, maybe hiding the relapsing. Did you get a lot of money stolen from you because maybe you were high and didn't realize it?
money stolen from me from the company?
Yeah.
No, they would pretend the merchant accounts got frozen, or there
But I
something
mean, did they
happened.
actually get frozen?
I mean, I don't want to get into that because that was a touchy subject for a long time.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, many times at multiple companies.
So it's fair to
Towards
say.
the end of the company, when their bank accounts or their merchants are getting ready to are realizing what's going on, they're going to freeze the money. They tell everyone they took the money and they pay everyone like a $500
No, I mean
base.
when you were running the company.
Oh, when I was running, I
Yeah,
mean,
because right now I'm at the point you're running your own company, right?
yes.
And at this time you're out getting high, you're going to strip
We talk
clubs,
in the staffing agency. We talk in the other.
just like in combination. What I'm trying to ask you is, did you, due to your addiction, did you end up not maybe paying attention to certain numbers that were coming in, going
Oh,
out,
never.
and
No, I
oh,
always
you
knew
were always on
money's
top
my
of that?
best friend.
So no matter how hungover you were or whatever, you
I
were
can
always
always count
looking
the
and
dollar bills.
that's good.
I got money tattooed all over my body, and that's money's never done me
Yeah,
wrong.
because most people do that. They get suckered real quick, especially down here in Florida. I'm from up north, as you know, and it's a whole different ballgame up there. Down here, whew, there's a lot of these are master manipulators down here. Some of the best I've seen.
Oh, I know a lot of those people around here.
Yeah.
I stay clear from them.
So when you see one, when you pick one of them out, what's the first thing you notice about them? Because
Just
when I first came
I
down
read vibes. I can instantly tell if someone's a scumbag right off the back.
and what's like a sign that you look for or see?
Their body language, the way they approach you, how they start their conversations. Um,
So when a snake would approach you, like how would they do it?
when I'm making that money, people are coming up trying to business ideas.
They got 3,000 ideas, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I gave in to a few of them. Some of them were good friends that I realized just wanted the money. Still didn't care. I lost 50 grand on one, a couple $100,000 on another.
What
Many
deal? What
times.
deal? When you lost the 100K, what deal was that?
Uh, yeah, we don't want to speak about that one.
Okay, all right. So you lost money with
Yeah,
manipulative Floridians.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much drug addicts.
Right. Just trying to say nice. Um,
That's the nicest way to say it.
Now, were you able to maintain a romantic,
Oh,
not a sex relationship?
at that
Were you
time,
able to maintain a
I was with my
romantic
son's mother. She
relationship?
didn't do drugs. She didn't like drugs.
Okay.
So that was always had to be hidden, like most of the time.
Okay. So when did you have your son?
I was 20. I was 23.
And were you at the height of your addiction
I
then?
was no. I mean, I've had many heights, and then many long term. I was doing good, not doing drugs. Um, but she made me want to do drugs.
What'd she do to
She drove
make
me
you want
fucking
to do?
nuts.
Like what?
She was just annoying. I don't know. I look back to this day and I don't know. I have love for her. I don't hate her, but she drove me fucking nuts.
Well, she ended up getting you in a lot of trouble, right?
Yeah, whatever.
Now,
It's my son's mother. I can't, hate her.
yeah, right. Now, if you hadn't had your addiction, do you think you would have ever gotten in trouble?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah, that had nothing to do with the consequences of what happened for what I did.
Yeah. So it would have came. Maybe it
I mean,
would
if I
have.
did other things like wrong, like she probably wouldn't have told on me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Explain that again. How she told on you. How'd that
oh
happen?
boy, let me take a sip of this first.
Yeah.
God, I hope she never sees this video. Well,
I'm sure you've already.
in a nutshell, I kind of hooked up with her mother and left her for her best friend. For one,
Say it again.
I hooked up with her mother
You slept with your baby mother's mother.
and left her for her best friend.
I hope you were high as a kite when you did that.
Oh, we were.
Okay. Well, at least you got that going for you.
Yeah, we were.
Now, how'd she find out about that?
Mix of me saying it, an ex-girlfriend or the girl I was dating. I don't know. I don't. Nor do I care. I don't. She found out one way or another, and I don't care.
Well, okay, but I mean, you slept with her mother.
Yeah.
I don't think too many women would be too happy with that.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, I mean,
I think I mentioned in the other video I'm a recovering piece of shit as
Yeah.
well.
So when you get popped banging her mother,
Never got popped. No one caught us.
well, how'd she find out?
Mix of the girl I was dating saying something over a phone.
I got you
This
killed.
I
Huh?
don't. Those events, I was really fucked up at all times. Like after I left her, and she wasn't letting me see my son, which got me in a depressed state. Which cocaine and ecstasy and everything else in between the sun.
Now, were you more like addicted to the ecstasy or the cocaine?
Cocaine.
Really?
Ecstasy was just a fun drug to do every now and then.
Right.
Have great sex for days.
But the withdrawal from that's terrible, right? Or
Yeah, you
or
feel
the
like shit for days. Nothing
days?
makes you happy.
Now, do you go through a physical withdrawal from cocaine or it's all mental?
Your
I've heard
body-
conflicting
Yes
stories
and no.
about that.
It's hard to explain for
Try to
for
explain
someone
it,
who's doing it
'cause
every day.
I don't know anything about
like
this shit.
like amounts like a couple $100 for the day. Yeah, you feel it. But I craved it like all the time.
Now, while you were in your addiction, right? Not now, but while you were in it, were all your friends, were your social surroundings, people you
I was
hung
the
out
guy
with?
feeding it. Everyone always wanted to hang out because I knew I had and I knew I'd share it.
Right. So basically, everybody you were hanging out with was using too.
I mean, yeah, since you live in the drug addict lifestyle, anyone who wants drugs is going to come around who has it.
Right.
So
So now, when you went, what made you decide? Okay, enough is enough. Well, let me go back.
there's many times I've decided that and been clean for years. I mean, 6, 8 months, 5 years was the longest I've went. What goes through your mind? Tons of things, but I can't quite at this particular moment think of an exact, thought I was thinking. I mean, after being up for 3 days and your body hates you and you just hate life because you're coming down, like you make that decision. I've made that decision several times and went, 6 months to a year without it. And something happens, I get depressed, I get wasted, and knowing I can't drive and call the dope man and bring me some cocaine to wake up. So
it sounds like you have triggers,
I definitely have triggers.
and that's what triggers
Depression
you to do
and
it.
being really drunk, which is why I try and stay away from all of that.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what legal issues other than
Probation, obviously. So that's another thing that's making things a lot easier to stay clean.
but did you have? I mean, forget about the case that you were on with before, but prior to this case here, did you have any other legal issues due to your use?
No.
Never got like pulled over with drugs in the car or anything
No.
like that.
I mean, I've been pulled over with pot in the car many times. I just get a citation, or they bring me to jail for possession of marijuana under 20 grams, and I get out and I go to court, and but like nothing serious, nothing crazy. No.
just until the big federal indictment.
Yeah.
Right. So okay. So we got to that. So now again, what was because you've been clean now.
Yeah.
So what happened now that made you say, okay, enough is enough. I'm not doing this
going back
anymore.
to prison's a very big factor.
So would you say that because you went to prison, that's what made you say, look, I can't do this anymore?
No, definitely not.
Okay, so
I was
what?
high for 3 days straight when they came in, pretty much kicked in my door.
Well, I'm saying when you got out. What I'm trying to ask you is,
I've failed
what,
drug tests. I've violated for probation. I've been punished for that since I've been out. But there's procedures that they have. COVID saved me from going back to prison. But they have me on outpatient treatment. Twice a month. They called me today, said I have a meeting tomorrow over the phone at 11. There's things that help. It's talking to people. Staying clear from that crowd.
So you changed your friends, the people you hang out with?
I changed a lot of them.
Yeah.
I have a lot of great friends. Some of them do drugs, which I don't judge anyone for what they do, but
But are you able to hang out with them and
mentally,
not do
you
it?
have to have the right. Yeah, I mean, I can watch someone do drugs and not want to do them, but I'm not. I don't put myself in that situation.
But again, to the original question, what was it? Because you could say, "Oh, well, I violated probation or I went to jail." Okay, that's a situation in life that happened, and now you don't want to violate probation because you don't want to go back to jail. You're happy, you're clean, you got weight on you, you don't look like a toothpick. Okay, what happened in your mind or what set you off that said, "I'm done"? Is it the outpatient treatment? Is it some type of inpatient treatment that
Just
you did?
having too many long nights where you're up for days or not going to bed till 8 p.m. the next day, hating life, realizing this is not fun anymore. Um, Going back to prison's definitely again like a major factor in that. Um,
But when you're off probation, then what? Because you keep referring, I don't want to go back to prison. I don't want to
well,
violate.
that lifestyle, I mean, my body can't handle it. I've made millions of dollars and I have partied like a rock star. 10 strippers in the penthouse doing cocaine off every single one of them, all naked in the penthouse. I mean, I've done crazy shit. And I've partied enough in my life where I don't have to be wild like that. I mean, my body hates me for it. Like, I feel like I'm 65 years old.
So basically, what you're saying, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, is that there's factors that helped you, right? But you kind of quit cold turkey, like an alcoholic that
Well,
drank
you
for
have to.
30
There's
years.
nothing
They
you can supplement with
that
it.
they didn't go to AA, they didn't go to rehab. They just woke up and they said, you know what,
No,
enough is enough. I'm done. And then there's very
AA
rare.
meetings, well, NA meetings, just not my thing. I mean, just didn't feel comfortable. Maybe I had to go to a different place or a different meeting. Just not my forte. When
It
I was in the rehab, they made us do one every night. I was comfortable with everyone because I lived with them there for months. So I even told my story there, like full from start to finish story. And, we get to, if you're in a comfortable group of people, it's a different situation.
right, right. So do you think that does help if you're in the
Yeah.
right? And
Going to
what
a random AA or an NA meeting where this lady over here just smoked a rock and dude over there's nodding out from heroin and
everyone
everyone's over
I
there itching themselves.
yeah, I mean,
It's not a comfortable environment.
a lot of people that I talk to that go to them. Now I'm sure there's some good ones. You know, what I mean, I have a friend. He's a jeweler, and he's been clean for about 10 years, and he was way worse than you. I mean, way worse. I mean, he went and he got all hooked on the cocaine, Xanax. I'm sure you've seen other people do this, right? So he smashed on all kinds of stuff, like a handle of whiskey. I mean, this guy was pounding stuff with the Xanax, with the coke, with the crack, a lot of crack. And
He's asking for trouble.
him and his girl got in a fight. And I could be saying this wrong, you know what I mean? If I am, sorry, because I'm sure he's gonna watch this. You know what I mean? But to make a summary of the story, which again, this might not be fully accurate, but the basis, he went in. I believe he thought that his girlfriend was at some guy's house. He just had this imaginative thing
It's the
that this
cocaine
happened.
paranoia.
Right, because he was on coke, crack, alcohol, you name it, he was on it. Well, he goes in with the gun. He goes into the wrong house, and it's some old lady's house, and shoots up the house. I mean, unloads.
He was on some not LSD. He's on something.
Well,
He's on
he
that
was
Flocka.
no, he was just on days of no sleep, with Xanax, tons of alcohol, coke, crack,
Yeah, you make poor
pills.
decisions when you're
Yeah,
mixing
so
like that.
and
I take a Xanax, even a quarter of a Xanax. I'm at Walmart stealing shit.
really.
I don't know.
So now,
Every time I've ever taken a Xanax throughout my life, I've ended up at Walmart trying to take shit out the front door.
now he's the one who's been. I think he's got 9 years clean, and I remember talking to him early on in his recovery, maybe 3 years in, and it was really hard for him to find an NA meeting to go to that basically wasn't like a drug dealing meeting because this is what he told me. You can
Drug
correct me
dealers
if I'm
will
wrong.
go there and try and
Yeah,
look for customers.
right. They go there, so they sit there, and then when you walk out, they look for customers. Right. So he had a difficult time down here finding the right place to go to to clean it up. Did you experience anything like that?
It was that type of atmosphere, yes.
Yeah.
At the 2 places I went to.
And you had to be strong enough to say, look, I'm done.
I was there for 5 minutes, I was out.
Yeah, you just got up and walked out.
Yeah, didn't even look back. I was like, this is not for me.
Yeah. So, okay. So basically, you just quit cold turkey. What are you doing now? Outpatient?
Outpatient, yes.
And you do believe that that's helping you?
It is helping me.
But you have to have the right person, too.
The person I speak
that's
to,
a lot to do with it.
I mean, yes and no. Just having anyone to talk to, tell them about, what you're going through the past week that, you've been struggling with, or just having someone to conversate. That obviously has to keep it confidential.
Yeah, they have to. Right?
But
now, do you have a sponsor?
no, I don't do the whole 12-step thing.
Yeah, they push.
When I was in rehab, they were, that's what they pushed down your throat.
Yeah.
Higher power. I think I can remember most of them, but.
Now, do you think for some people the sponsor thing works? It's just not for you.
Yeah, some people. All your friends are your sponsors. You call them when you're having problems. If you have a good friend, they'll answer. They'll talk to you. People call me all the time just to talk.
So it kind of sounds like with you, it's more of you get a trigger, you don't know how to handle it, so you run from it.
I'm pretty bad at saying no, especially when I'm drinking alcohol.
Right. Now, do you drink now?
I'm not supposed to, no, and I'm not currently, no.
Okay. Now, would you be afraid that if you did, that would lead to...
If I got drunk enough, yes. I do not like getting drunk because I do not like being hungover.
Right.
And then when you're really drunk and you do cocaine, the hangover is twice as bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't want to say try it and then you'll figure it out, but it's just bad. You hate life.
But I thought that the cocaine brings you back up.
It evens it out, but you're still hungover the next day, and then you have a cocaine hangover.
Right.
And your nose is killing you, because not if you're doing a little bit, but you're snorting grams and grams and grams.
Did you ever do crack?
So I tried crack once. I was with we'll call my uncle. Went to Tamron in the middle of the night. This was many years, way before I was even on probation, before I did my call center stuff. Went to Tamron at like 4 a.m. after the strip club, and we were supposed to go get more coke. He knew where to go. He was gone for 20 minutes. He came back, and he had bought some crack. And he's like, just try it. And I was like, all right. He convinced me after like 20 minutes. I felt tweaked out. I don't like smoking it.
So what is the difference between crack and cocaine as far as use?
The high. I don't know. I just don't like being. I was on another level I didn't like.
Right.
And I usually like being on another level. So.
Like where you do crazy things, or you're just no.
No, just that speedy feeling.
But almost too speedy, right?
Sometimes you get too. That's called getting stuck.
What's that mean?
I can't.
That sounds funny. What do you mean stuck?
It's hard to explain.
We'll try to explain it.
Your mind's racing. Like you're trying to figure out what your next move is. You're like literally, I'll stand there for 20 minutes with my phone in my hand, trying to just go on my phone, and it's like that's when you know you're fucked up.
Did you ever do mushrooms?
I've done mushrooms a few times. I don't like hallucinogens.
No.
No, I had bad experiences.
What's the one that's supposed to be the DHT, DMT?
DMT?
Yeah, that one's supposed to really open up your eyes to the universe.
I almost tried it, but
yeah, I think
you have to be in the right environment by yourself with comfortable people. Otherwise, apparently it's like a minute and it feels like hours.
Yeah,
I'm not about that life.
Yeah, right.
No.
Okay, so if somebody's got a cocaine addiction right now, what would you say that they should do to? What's the first step?
Ask for help.
Ask for help.
Yeah.
Well,
some people are prideful.
That's a little bit too broad.
That's what you got to do. And you got to say, at least admit it, because if you know you got a problem, you got a problem. You're just lying to yourself.
And who would you recommend they go ask for help? Find.
First off, talk to your friends.
Well, all their friends are probably.
Everyone's got some kind of a friend or a couple friends that aren't fuck ups that don't do drugs. Everybody's got them. Okay. And then go to a church, go anywhere, go to a rehab, I don't know, I have a social personality. I'll go talk to people. Right. So
everything I know is you change the things around you. The people around you.
Change the environment, the people you hang out with.
That's a lot easier.
That's definitely the first step. Yeah. But you got to want it, though.
But how do you get somebody somebody like you, who they have a trigger. They may have had a messed up family life, so on and so forth. And they want to stop, but they just can't. You as a person who has been able to stop, what would you recommend to them? If they called you, I call you, hey, I really want to stop this.
Let's go have lunch
cocaine.
and let's talk. Let's figure out what we can do for you. I mean,
now, how do they find a guy like you?
I don't know. I'm a rare breed, that's for sure.
I might give you about 17 more monsters so that you can think.
I don't know. Just the people you hang out with. You know who you can talk to. That's all I can say. If you don't have any of those types of people in your life, you got to get rid of the people you're hanging out with and find different people.
And you got to make that choice to do it.
Yeah.
Now that you're clean and everything else, has your relationship with any of your family gotten any better, or is it still hot against you?
No.
And why do you say no?
I'll never live the way they want me to.
Well, what the hell more do they want you to do? You're not doing drugs.
They're more Christian than Jesus Christ himself. I couldn't.
Well, then they should be all about forgiveness. I mean, I don't mean to talk about. I mean, they should be the first ones to open up the door.
They're the first ones to judge. Told my mother this the other day, and I think it has a factor to do with when you actually have a child, like as a mother, and it comes out of your body. You have a maternal connection to that child. I'm adopted. I texted her literally yesterday that you
texted your mother?
My adopted mother, that you'll never understand the maternal connection between a child, between like a mother and a child.
Right.
That's why she chooses to. My mother can't come see me, talk to me, do anything with me. I can't call her and say, hey, you want to do this? She has to ask permission from my stepfather. So.
But why does she have to do that now?
She doesn't have to. She chooses to. It's a long story.
When was the last time you talked to your biological mother?
My biological mother? On Facebook the other 2 weeks ago. She messaged me, asked me how I'm doing.
But she has to go through your stepfather if she wants.
This is my adopted mother, not my biological.
I'm talking about your biological mother.
No, I'm a grown ass man. Talk to whoever I want to.
Okay.
Biological mother just types a message and hits send.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you haven't seen her?
No, been a lot of years.
Okay. So I could see where the triggers
My adopted mother is 4 miles from where I'm in Jupiter Gardens, where I'm at.
Now, do you think it would be beneficial for you to try to reestablish a relationship with your biological mother, or do you think that would be more? Don't try to act tough.
Do you think that definitely not acting tough?
Do you think that would be?
I don't know what type of beneficial you mean it would be.
I mean, does it bother you that you don't talk to her?
No.
Okay.
No. There's a lot. I take things. I mean, people who hear about adoption take it differently than because they don't know how it is or feels. Maybe when you first find out, or I don't know. I was put in a great situation for a while, so at that time, me being born and being with my biological mother wouldn't have been the best environment for me as a child growing up.
So it was a good thing for a period of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had the option to move back.
All right. So that's good.
So not to.
So now, what are you doing now?
And you gotta.
I mean, business-wise. Okay, so you got clean. What are you doing now? You're staying busy all the time.
Staying busy.
That's a big thing in staying in recovery, right? Staying busy, occupied, good people around you, finding something that interests you, a hobby, whatever the heck it may be, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm babysitting a lot, so.
You're babysitting a lot?
Yeah, I gotta stay busy.
So,
I was babysitting earlier. Went to Bush Wildlife, saw the alligator, the otters, the birds, the bears, the panthers.
And this is with your
my roommate's child. Yes.
Now, do you think that helps you stay on the right path too?
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
Girl or boy?
It's a boy.
Okay, so he's probably starting to look up to you.
I mean, I'm not his role. He's got a father
for
that.
Well, okay.
But he's.
If you're taking him to parks and everything else, he's looking at you differently than Joe Schmo.
I would assume so. All kids that age are sponges.
Right. So if you're addicted to cocaine or any other drug for that matter, first accept that you are. Then find somebody to talk to about it that you're comfortable with.
Ask for help.
Ask for help. And, again, it's tough to ask for help because I mean,
It's a pride thing.
and I keep saying this to you because
After you have many late nights and you realize, like,
I know, but I keep saying
it
this to you
happens.
because you've gotten through it. But I think somebody else has heard, oh, ask for help. Well, who the hell do I ask for help? Who do you ask for help? If all your friends are in recovery
No,
or
they
not in
make
recovery,
places to go ask for help. You can't get in trouble for going to a rehab or to anywhere and saying you have a problem and you want help. And there's great people in this world everywhere. Um, if they're working in a business that helps you get clean in recovery or rehabs, they're there for you to talk to them. They chose a career to help people, so
now because you've been through it and you got through it and you've had a tough life, I know you're only telling bits and pieces of it, but you've had a tough life. Don't you think that maybe a business possibly, in two ways, a business, financially, but also a good thing and help maybe open up, some type of, it doesn't have to be like outpatient, but, like a website. Like, look, this is what I've been through. You can look at my pictures. This is no BS, right? My life's been off the chain, crazy, adopted, this, that, the other. And if you need help, you can call this number, which would be your number, and you can help people that actually need because you are social. I mean,
uh,
not necessarily today, but you are normally pretty social.
I mean, just anywhere I go, I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. But I mean, that's more of a non-profit thing. That's more of a where I mean, if I
Well,
had more time in my life, I would absolutely be about trying, But there's already hundreds of, tens of thousands of places like that.
okay. Well, here's the
Me
thing.
particularly helping somebody, anyone who asks me, I'll help them.
Well, here's the thing. There
But
there is tons of businesses like that, but 90% of them are crooked.
they're in there for the insurance or
Right.
yeah,
I'm
the money.
talking. I'm talking about. Yes, you can turn it into a business for. You don't have to be nonprofit. What do you think these psychiatrists that aren't 30 that are charging 2, 3, $4 an hour to go talk to them to help them recover? I mean, yeah, they're doing it to help the patient, okay, but they're also doing it to put money in the bank account. And what I'm saying to you is, I think you should consider because you've gotten through this, you've gotten clean, and if I, from people that I know that have gone through what you've gone through and looking at it from the outside, I think the toughest thing would be finding someone, maybe like you, that I could easily call and talk to and say, look, I'm about to go on a tear and you're not going to give them the bullshit and blah, 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 blah. You could talk to it
I don't beat around the bush.
and you could charge them and
That's
build a
definitely an
business like
idea.
that.
Well,
And then you're knocking out two birds with one stone. You're doing a good thing, which will make yourself feel better, right? And then you're helping somebody else. You're making some money. And when times get tough for you, and they will, it may help you stay on the right page because now you have a responsibility of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 other people. And you are, just like you were so good with the call center, you're good at talking to people. But in my opinion, because of what you've been through, I think you would not only help a ton of people, but you could actually really financially benefit from it.
I totally agree. I totally
All right.
agree.
Well, if you decide that that's something you want to do, let me know. And I'll put your number or email in the description of this. And, hopefully you can help somebody and hopefully choose to do it because, you were good at the call center. You got pinched. You got crushed. You did this. You did that. I mean, you constantly get in trouble with your genius ideas. So maybe this is a little bit better of an idea that
Used to get in trouble.
you used to get it. Well,
Keywords.
you're still on probation. So,
Yeah, that
yeah.
is a fact.
Yeah, right. All right, Wes. Well, thank you for coming in. Is there anything else you want to say to somebody who has an issue other than, accept it?
Just accept it and don't be afraid to talk to somebody about it. I mean, it's your life you're gambling with. If you know you have a problem that bad, go get the help.
And one last question, and then I'll let you get out of here. Do you think that marijuana use, alcohol use, do you think that that all leads to?
Alcohol, it plays a part in a lot of people. I know a lot of people that
I
drink that
mean,
don't do other drugs, but
yeah.
marijuana, no, that's a medicinal thing.
So you don't think marijuana has any type
Absolutely
of
not.
effect on,
I am.
but you would say alcohol
Alcohol for
could.
sure. You don't smoke weed and go. I mean, I've never personally known anyone that get high,
What do they call
stoned, and
that?
go
Like
crash their car. But you've never
I-
smoked weed and tried to go rob a bank.
right, but what do they call it? They always say it like a lead-in drug.
Gateway drug.
Gateway drug.
Marijuana's not a gateway drug.
You don't think marijuana is a
No.
gateway drug? No, I agree with you. I
I was
just wanted.
prescribed medical marijuana when it first came out. I was like one of the first 5,000 people in Florida to get approved for the Compassionate Care Act. I had back pain, insomnia, herniated disc, bulging disc. It helps. It works. I believe in it.
And also, I did a interview on.
I saw several of the ones on there.
modafinil, and modafinil
And I
is
saw
proven
that
to
one.
work for a cocaine addict. It's been proven. Now, they hate it. Doctors hate it. PCPs hate it. Therapists hate it. Some therapists hate it. But it's actually been proven, on NCBI, big time thing, to actually work. So
Yeah, it definitely. I took it a few times. I definitely feel the effects.
it's prescription, but and it's prescribed for narcolepsy, but the off-label use for it, which it can be prescribed for, is other things. So that might be something else too. So you let me know if you'd be interested in that, and if so, I'll throw an email or number in there, and maybe you could look into that. If not,
It's something I'm open to.
thank you for sharing your experience.
Yeah, not a problem.
All right, Wes, thank you very much.
Yeah, talk to you later.